Hello, my name is Arlo. I'm in Quaoar, Texas, and I'm going to try a trick. And that is to put a live brown recluse spider and a live black widow spider simultaneously on my hand for 2 minutes. So, the purpose of this is to show people out there who are afraid of spiders that spiders don't necessarily just bite you out of spite. So if I'm wrong and I get some kind of hideous bite on my finger, then we'll have a nice video documentation of the necrosis and everything that happens. But I don't think it's going to go that way. So, behold, spiders on hand for 2 minutes.
That is a handler of dangerous spiders. I am not afraid of spiders, at all. That's a black widow and a brown recluse on my bare hand. The water in the video is to keep the spiders from running up my arm. The first take was a disaster. I have lots of favorites, but the brown huntsman is a standout. It's big, it's scary, but it eats pests and you can pick it up without the spider freaking out. To try to overcome your arachnophobia, start observing them, take pictures of them and post them to r/spiders. Learn to recognize different species, learn to recognize different spider parts, like the pedipalps and the spinnerets. Knowledge will help ablate your terror. I pick up every spider I find. I have handled hundreds of species from North America, Costa Rica, and Indonesia. I used to smash about 30 a day between my bare hands in Costa Rica, where I worked at a butterfly garden. I was never bitten. I don't normally kill spiders, because I am convinced they are falsely implicated in almost every instance of reported bites. I am also a spider bite tester, but so far I haven't gotten infanged. Next time you freak out about a spider, don't kill it, even if it's in your house. Put a glass over it, slide a postcard underneath, and take a picture of it. Then post it in r/spiders and you'll probably find out it's a harmless pest eater. If it is something dangerous, we will give you sensible advice. Let me anticipate some of your questions or statements. I don't hate spiders, but I am terrified of them. My response: you're not alone. Many people identify themselves as arachnophobes and harbor unreasonable fear and disgust for spiders. The most helpful thing you can do for yourself is trap a spider in a jar and just look at it. You'll see it is a small animal afraid for its life, not a bloodthirsty killer. Once you're looking close enough to see them, your spider paranoia will begin to evaporate. I don't care what they do outside, but if they come into my house, it's game over. Why? You're 10,000 times the spider's size and you have a giant brain. Be the conscious being in charge of the situation, calm down, and don't kill the spider, bro. Roaches and mosquitoes throw a party when you squash a spider. How would you respond to being bitten by a brown recluse? Cold compress and trip to the doctor. Do you have a theory of what are causing the bites if not spiders? Sure, lots of things can cause itchy red bumps or lesions. MRSA is a common culprit, but even the simple act of leaning against a screen door or a thorn bush can puncture your epidermis, and drive bacteria down to where they cause a minor infection. This presents as an itchy bump, usually overnight. There are also a great many small insects that have piercing/sucking mouth parts, who will happily take a sample of sleeping person to see if you are edible. Why do they have so many eyes? 1. The better to see you with, my dear. Many different species of spiders, especially jumping spiders, have 4 sets of eyes. They need these extra sets of eyes, as they do not easily catch their prey in web. They hunt. These spiders will use their main eyes for basic vision, with sharp colored vision that allows them to see ultraviolet light that humans cannot see. The other eyes assist in enhancing their ability to react to catching their prey and defending themselves against predators. 2. The purpose of having secondary eyes. With the main eyes being used for basic vision, the secondary sets of eyes are believed to be used to detect motion. This will aid them in response to a predator attack or the movement of their prey. The most important set of eyes on spiders are the anterior lateral eyes. This set is the next pair of eyes after the principal eyes. They are forward-facing, but are used mainly for this motion detection. Without this set of eyes, the spider would be in some serious trouble. What happens without the anterior lateral eyes? When the A eyes are damaged, or covered during tests, spiders are usually unable to react to quick changes that would require them to defend or attack. Even with the principal eyes being as sharp as they are, the A eyes are completely in charge of detecting motion. To stress how important these eyes are, a spider with blocked-out principal eyes would be far better off than a spider with blocked-off A eyes. Spiders have 8 eyes for survival. They're not just something to freak us out when we see them crawling through our homes. What's your most interesting spider fact that people probably won't already know? Wow, there are so many. One of my favorites is that spiders often have an internal skeleton. It is a cartilaginous frame inside the body that anchors muscles. Wait, what? I was always taught they were exoskeletal. Not exclusively. Which spider has the most potential to evolve and become the world's dominant species? Which one is the most intelligent in other terms? Jumping spiders. Big eyes, big brains. These are my favorite. I used to know one that lived on a picnic table when I'd be eating lunch. He would play around with me. He'd come and check me out, and when I'd put my finger out, he'd hide, then slowly come back out and eventually got used to me. It got to a point where I'd put my hand down and he'd climb up and hang out. He was my little spider brother. I actually had one living inside my bike for over a year. I named him Victor. He was a sneaky little guy. I only saw him once every couple of weeks. But just about every time I went out for a long ride, I looked down about 45 minutes in and noticed a line of silk stretching from one arm to the other. He crawled up my arm, jumped to the other side and disappeared without me noticing while I was averaging 16 miles per hour, on a regular basis. About 4 months ago he hitched a ride on my helmet up to my dorm. But I haven't seen him since. When I was younger I would play with spider, then would let them crawl on me. They were amazing. Something changed, I guess. I am terrified of them now. Mostly cockroaches. I know they are different. Well, I guess I am leading up to a spider question. What is the first thing you should do when you get bit? Is it weird to be fine seeing spiders that are large, in the legs/thick, and enjoying those rather than the tiny spiders with the thin long legs? Verify that a spider was actually doing the biting, capture it, alive or dead, so you can show it to a professional, then cold compress. But it happens so seldom that there's not a well-set procedure in place. It's like asking what to do if you get pecked by a condor. What's the most painful spider bite you've had? Also, how often do you get bit in that line of work? I've never been bitten. I must have handled at least 5,000 spiders by now. You're not one of those I'll get bit till I'm immune people, are you? Do you know people like that? Sure, I know them. I personally don't have a reaction to mosquito bites anymore, after so many tens of thousands. I did and still do have pretty bad arachnophobia, ever since I was little. I've transitioned from kill on sight, to respectfully catching and releasing outside any spider I find. My phobia makes me extremely interested in spider handling, believe it or not. How does one get started in this kind of hobby while still being safe? There's only 2 species in the US that are of any concern. Teach yourself to recognize those 2, and don't pick them up. All the others are completely harmless unless you squished them into your eye or harass them unreasonably. What are your thoughts on the possibility of spiders making homes in new climates? For example, there was a spider living under my doormat. It was a giant brown recluse. However, many have told me that it is impossible for them to live here. Do you think the spiders can acclimate to their environment enough to start a life in new climates? Individuals probably can, but populations don't usually get going elsewhere because they are outcompeted by spiders that are already there. Northern Hemisphere spiders are badass. Think of the privations of the seasons, for example. So it's harder for other species to find a niche. Similarly, northern spiders don't do well in warm places because there is likewise a lot of competition. If you walk through a spider web, do you freak out like the rest of us, or is it just another day at the office for you? Just another day at the office. In the tropics I usually carry a stick out in front of me so I don't walk into golden orbwaver webs. Okay, why golden orbwaver in particular? Are there just more of them around? Are they more dependent on their web? A more delicate species? No, their web is huge and strong, and they often build webs across paths. It's a tough one to disentangle yourself from. Most of the spiders where I'm from are small, blandly colored, and able to be found in your house during winter. However, when spring rolls around, we are able to find garden spiders. Huge yellow fellas with black patches on their backs. Why are they so different in size from other spiders of the region? Where do they go in the winter? I can't usually ID spiders without a picture. But the answer is, they usually overwinter as juveniles in crevices and warm areas, and since they are cold-blooded, their metabolism slows way down,